Okay, first of all, Gordon Hill's my name. I'm Secretary, Rotary Club of Cobar. And the first thing I'd like to do is apologise for our President, Peter Patton, one of those many mine work employees out here who's working shift work. He's actually on shift at the moment, so he's unable to attend. But so on his behalf, I would welcome you all to Cobar and thank you for coming along tonight. Later on, when I hand over to Matthew, he'll tell you a little bit more about what's going on. But I'd also like to welcome a couple of lovely ladies, Cobar ladies. We've got Mary Urquhart. Put your hand up, Mary. Mary's the Health Services Manager. And Mary's had a very busy time this afternoon with the Governor of New South Wales, showing the Governor our new multi-purpose facility that will be open shortly after Christmas. So, Karen Manns is the nurse manager at our hospital as well. So, both those ladies, of course, are very well aware of Macquarie Homestay and the benefits to the Cobar community. So thank you, ladies, for coming along. We would have liked to have seen a few more local people tonight, but there's a lot of stuff happening at the moment with the Governor's visit and all sorts of things. So we've got what we've got. So once again, thank you for coming. On behalf of Peter, welcome. I'll have a little bit more to say a little bit later on, but I'd like to hand over now to Matthew Dickerson from Rotary Club of Dubbo South, who would like to talk to you a little bit more about Macquarie Homestay. Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks, Jordan. And I'm very disappointed, Mary. I actually thought the Governor was here to see us coming into town, but she was actually here to see you, right? Oh, sorry, guys. I said she was here for us. So. What I'll do first of all, before I talk a little bit about homestays, I'll just run a little video. We've had Dave, who's one of our riders, in his part-time work after riding all day. He gets to edit videos as well. So I'll just get Lockie just to hit play on that for us. Thanks, mate. That's right, goes forever. So we started the Tour de OROC back in 2013, and the whole idea of Tour de OROC was initially started to raise money. Now, you'd probably be familiar with the fact that Lillian Brady was one of the instigators of the concept of some accommodation in Dubbo, because it got to the point where you couldn't have a baby outside of, in the whole region, you couldn't have a baby outside of Dubbo. And so pregnant ladies were waiting to the last possible minute to go down there. Then you end up with emergencies, and we've got a Royal Flying Doctor Service pilot here, Ash Miles, and someone like Ash would be called out to go and pick up someone who was very close to having a baby, and they might end up having a baby before they got on the plane, or maybe on a plane. Have you actually had someone have a baby on the plane? Sorry? Have you ever had someone have a baby on the plane? Not yet. Right, not yet. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully it won't. He's a good pilot. There has been some born on the tarmac. On the tarmac. So Tony, who just happens to be involved in the medical industry, said he knows of some examples where they've been born on the tarmac. So their whole idea was that people were leaving as late as possible because of the expensive accommodation. So Lillian, in conjunction with Dawn Fardell, who was the member for Dubbo at the time, came up with the idea of some accommodation in Dubbo. It's grown past pregnant ladies. It's really for anyone that needs any medical treatment. And again, when we've done this tour in the past, back in 13, 15 and 17, we had plans or Lego houses or the concept, but now finally we've actually got the actual facility, and many people have already seen the facility. So the thing I mentioned there in the video, the thing that I love about this ride is that when you look at all these riders here, all this support crew we have, no one here will ever use Macquarie Homestay. No one, I mean, the Cobar people may, hopefully you don't, but the Cobar people may, but all the riders, all the people involved, because we live in Dubbo, or people that live in Sydney or Port Macquarie are not going to come to Dubbo for treatment. It's people from the region that will use it. And as Dubbo people, or as a Dubbo person, I'm very happy to raise money for something that's used by the region, because the region and the Dubbo are intrinsically linked. So I think it's just a show of support from Dubbo for the entire region. And it's been great as we've travelled around. We're supporting the region, but people have just come up to us. You know, there's one guy who was herding some sheep, and it looked pretty desolate out there. He came across on his quad bike, handed over, I think, $20, and then here you go, thanks very much, and kept going. And we felt like we should be giving him money because it looked pretty dire, the circumstances he was in. But people do appreciate what we've been doing, and it's great to see Cobar again supporting it. Cobar supported this in the past. and it's great to see Cobar on board supporting it again. So that's a bit of an overview on that, and a bit more than that as well. So thanks for the Rotary Club of Cobar for coming along and supporting it. And again, it was disappointing that Council couldn't be here tonight, but again, we understand with the Governor here, but Lillian and all the councillors actually were there today, and they welcomed us in and gave us some hugs, and that was great to see them as well. Yeah. Right, thanks, Gordon.
Thanks, Matthew. Yeah, look, I think certainly some figures that I've seen suggest that 1 in 5 people that stay at Macquarie Homestay actually come from the Cobar area. So certainly from our perspective from the Rotary Club of Cobar, it's important that we support Macquarie Homestay for that reason, because we know that over time a lot of people from the Cobar district are going to be using that facility. So we want to make sure that it's well funded and continues. To that end, I might add that we, apart from the Rotary Club of Cobar supporting this event, this club here, the Cobar Bowling and Golf Club, has been a big supporter as well. The meal that you've had tonight was actually, the cost of that meal was provided by the Cobar Bowling and Golf Club through their Clubs New South Wales grants. So we actually... We come and spoke to the club management and explained what was happening, that you guys were going to be coming out here and overnighting here, and it'd be great to be able to put on a meal. I've been talking to Graham, of course, about that, and so it didn't take a real lot of convincing at all for the club to say, well, okay, give us some sort of a budget and we'll do it. So that's what happened. So they've provided the meal tonight and breakfast in the morning. And while I think of it and talking about breakfast in the morning, I might add that we're looking to, we'll be here at 5:30 in the morning to start cooking. Breakfast will be a variety, having consulted with Graham, that there will be bacon and egg rolls for those people that are not so much worried about their figure. But we will have fruit, and we will have breakfast cereal. And fruit juice and so forth as well. So we'll be looking to serve that at around about 10 past, 6:15, everything going well, because we understand that you guys are going to be back on the bike about 20 to 7 in the morning. So the area that we'll be using will be outside, just in the northwest corner of the club here. There's a barbecue area, and we'll be serving breakfast out there. So when you come to the club in the morning, on the eastern side of the club, there's a footpath that runs right along the northern side of the club. If you make your way along the footpath to the barbecue area, which will be fairly self-evident in the back corner here, hopefully you'll find us out there. If you don't find us out there, it could be a bit of a worry. But no, we'll be there, and we'll have breakfast going for you.
Could I just say, if you just want cereal first, you can come earlier than 6 o'clock, like the bacon and egg roll might not be ready till 6 o'clock.
Probably the cereal and the fruit, fresh fruit and...
Really early riser and you're ready to go, you can come on down there.
4:30 then,
Yeah.
guys? 4:30?
Okay, so that's breakfast in the morning. Any questions on brekkie? Okay, just going back to the fundraising for a moment then. So as I mentioned, the meal was organised tonight through the club, and it was suggested to me that perhaps we hadn't asked for enough money, that we should ask for a bit more. So I'm never backward in that regard. I've applied for 1 or 2 grants in my time. So they handed me another grant application form, which I immediately filled in and got back to them. And as a result of that, we were able to, they donated through the club's grant system, they donated to the Rotary Club of Cobar an amount of $500, which we will now pass on to you guys. And further to that, the club at our meeting earlier this week said, well, if the club's going to put in $500, we've got to match it. So we've got a couple of cheques to hand over. If we've got somebody that's got a steady hand that's prepared to take a couple of cheques.
Absolutely. I better go and get you.
please. You come a bit closer. Okay, so the first cheque is for the money from the club through the club's grant. It was given to Rotary Club of Cobar, a cheque for $500.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we have another cheque also, not finished yet, another cheque also for, if I put my glasses on so I can read it, haven't got my glasses, $820, I think that's right, isn't it? Yes, $820. So that's the club contribution plus some other money that's been donated as well. So I'd like to hand over to you a cheque for $820 as well.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Tour de OROC, we'd like to say thank you very much. That's the Merrill Port.
Okay, thank you.
So
Thanks very
that's
much.
for you and everybody here that partakes in drinking port, and for the second cheque as well. Thank you very much, Gordon.
I'm sure that we'll be able to take care of that without a great deal of worry.
Thank you very much. And we'd like to say thank you very much for your hospitality and for hosting us this evening. The food is absolutely divine. You think we'd eaten enough, but no, we can eat. Cyclists can eat. Beautiful vegetables and food. So thank you very much. And thank you for your kind donation.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.